What's up, guys? A lot of people ask me all the time about the proper format for a podcast or how they should format their podcast. And, after I always suggest, hey, you guys should think about starting a podcast. And I know guys like Gary Vee, Jocko Willenick have been huge proponents of podcasts. They'll ask me that question, what's the best way to do it or how should I do it? There's a bunch of different ways. There's a lot of different ways people set up their podcast or they set up their interaction in conversation. You can have guests. You cannot have guests. You can run it by yourself. I always say this to a lot of people when, excuse me, bless me, when you're setting up a podcast or you're setting up a fan experience, you want to, or subscriber experience, you want to decide how long do I want to go? How do I want to structure this? Do I want to make this a Q&A? Are guests the best way for me to go? I always say this, when you're bad, play fast. When you're worse, play faster. And part of this raw and unedited series that I wanted to do with you was give you guys as much information as I could, just using my cell phone, being as open and honest as I can be, being as straightforward as I can be, to give you guys all the tools to do this on your own. Because people ask me so many questions, whether it's in the DM, how do I get these guests on? How do I do this? How do I ask people? How do I structure this? And I'm giving you all the answers here in this series if you watch it literally thumbnail by thumbnail. So my suggestion to a lot of you guys is don't be afraid to do the format that best suits you. If you're not a great networker and you don't have great relationships, host one by yourself. You just may have to choose a topic that's very exciting to a lot of people. I watch tons of stuff on YouTube that's just one guy sitting there with a camera, nothing else. He doesn't have any other equipment. It's just him, a camera, and he's giving his opinion, or he's giving his review of a movie, or he's giving his dialogue. You can review power tools for all I care. If you're going to do a podcast format, it has to be a little bit of a conversation between you and a particular topic, or between you and a particular person, depending on what you decide. And there's a lot of great podcasts out there that don't necessarily have famous people or known people on the podcast. I chose the format I chose to have these folks on the podcast that are influencers, or that are what's up now, or that are known people around different industries, because I knew a lot of folks and that was an area that was suited to me. That doesn't mean I don't host some episodes by myself, or I don't do some things by myself that speak to the audience, but a lot of people talk long and about how they want to format their podcast, and they don't necessarily know the best structure. You have to do a structure that suits you and suits your marketing plan and what you're trying to market. There's a lot of great pages out there. There's pages that market Amazon products. There's pages that market just bodybuilding. There's pages that market just fitness. There's pages that market a whole slew of things. Whatever it is you choose, whatever format that you choose, please keep in mind who you're speaking to. Does it suit your personality? And does it fit your audience and your demographic that you're going after? So if you're going after building an Amazon business, talk a lot about a lot of different Amazon products and deals going on at Amazon right now, and build up your Amazon affiliates program. If you're trying to have a conversation with folks, then you have to think about your network. Who do you know? Who can you get to? Are you in an area that you can have a lot of people on your podcast? I can only talk about myself because that's the only one I know very well, a situation I know very well. I could talk a little bit about like Mark Bell at Slingshot, what he has going on. If you build it, they will come, right? So if you have an environment that you can have a lot of really cool guests on, like I'm in Las Vegas. Everybody at some point in the year comes to Las Vegas. So Las Vegas becomes like an epicenter for folks that want to be on podcasts, build media, build relationships. So it's very easy for me to reach out to folks and have folks on as guests. I hope this all makes sense to a lot of you guys, and I hope that it resonates, and I hope that you understand where I'm coming from and what I'm trying to do and what I'm trying to build. But you also take some of this information and apply it to your thinking and what you're trying to do. Everybody has a specialty. You may know a lot about dogs. You may know a lot about medical supplies. You may know a lot about a particular topic. The better the niche, YouTube actually rewards you even more if your niche is strong. So part of the Raw and Unedited series is for me to give you this insight, for me to tell you a little bit that goes into my thought process and why I chose the path that I chose and why I do the things that I do. It's one of those things. So you have to just kind of see through why I chose the things that I chose and why I did the things that I did and apply it to your own podcast. I love seeing a lot of people out there creating media, and I love seeing a lot of people creating YouTube media. So remember, don't hesitate to do what you're good at. If you don't feel you're good at it yet, at least getting on the microphone, getting in front of the microphone, do fast clips. Most people stay in that 5 to 20 minute range because that's all the bandwidth that they have. And that's all they feel they can capture the audience. But my number one tip is find what you're good at and do that. If you're really good at being organized, do podcasts on how to stay organized. And if you have 100 listeners, they're going to be super loyal listeners as long as you're giving them information that they feel they can digest properly. So good luck to all you guys. I hope you find a format that works for you. Do a simple list of strengths and weaknesses, break it down, find what your strength is, stick to your strength, and in the beginning, don't be afraid to do really fast podcasts or really fast Q&As, and keep it quick and keep it tight and keep it exciting for the listener. So I hope you guys find your voice, find your podcast, and good luck to all of you.